been a great opportunity, I think, for all of us to come together this morning here at the museum in Raton in reference to speaking to all of you and getting to actually know one another in reference to commemorating the 100-year disaster that occurred down in Dawson, New Mexico, which in fact was October 22nd. Working together with the Italian Consulate as well as the state of New Mexico, quite a few of us have been asked to come together and make a presentation to the Dawson committee, the commemorative committee, that we now, in fact, personally I can say, I've gone through an incredible learning experience because prior to 1 month ago, I can say honestly, I didn't even know the name of Dawson, New Mexico. But as of now, we've been able to find a huge amount of information and history, as well as some videos. Quick side note, we're also involved with an Italian film and culture festival up in Santa Fe as well as in Albuquerque. We're going to put information about this event today also as a link to some of the research that we were able to find about video information and one of the news, your newsletter, I believe, the Miner's Pick. Is that correct?
Yeah, correct.
So I would like to ask Joe to say a few words on behalf of his committee, and then we can introduce some folks that are going to be making some presentations to the Dawson committee. Joe?
Welcome everybody for coming today, and can I get the committee members to come up?
Good morning everyone. My name is Irene Buongiorno and I'm with the Italian Consulate in Los Angeles. We are all here united to remember a tragedy where 263 people have lost their lives. Among them, the majority was Italians. And Italians that came here to call home this very beautiful land. And there are so many descendants nowadays that still call New Mexico their home. And we are here as a testimonial to the fact that Italy has not forgotten them, as New Mexico has not forgotten all of them. And is in the spirit of shared experiences and shared concerns that we have to build on. The Consulate General of Italy is looking forward to rekindle all these ties, and we are very excited about the flourishing of activities with these Italian flavors that are taking place in New Mexico, from language courses to film festival, as you were mentioning before. And they are a fitting testament to the hopes and dreams of those who came to the land of the enchantments over 100 years ago.
We have presented Mr. Plaque, the General's Consulate.
Thank you. Thank you. Very nice. Cemetery at our next reunion, which is 2014 Labor Day weekend. So we'll have another event. Some of the folks from Consulate and the film company and others may be in attendance for that reunion to place this plaque. And for now, we're going to leave it in the cemetery or the museum. And I also want to thank the Italian Consulate for bringing this to our attention, because as committees, we just concentrate really on the picnic and the reunion. We just kind of let this 100th anniversary slip by us. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here today. We would be maybe saying something in 2014 about it, but I appreciate them getting a hold of us and getting this going.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Richard Sims. I'm director of the 8th Historic Sites in New Mexico, stretching from Mammoth Springs down to Lucia. I'm privileged to represent Governor Susana Martinez here this morning and read a proclamation. First, I would like to give some of my own personal thoughts. I've been in museum work for over 30 years out west in many western states. Every one of those museums, unfortunately, had a mining disaster story as part of their regional history. When I ran the State Museum in Montana, we had exhibits on the disaster outside Red Lodge, Montana. Of course, the 1917 underground fire in Butte, Montana. I think of my work in Arizona and the many deaths that occurred during the mining in Jerome, Arizona's heydays. And I think of the Four Corners and the deaths that are still occurring from the uranium mining in the Four Corners area among the Navajo people and others who work those mines. When I was told I had this opportunity, I called a good friend of mine in Silverton, Colorado, John Wright. He's a retired miner and consulting on mining safety now. And I said, John, have you got any thoughts on this? I'm talking to the good people of Raton Sunday morning. He sent me a wonderful editorial. It's very short. It was written in 1990. It appeared in the Silverton Standard, October 11th, 1990. If you'll indulge me, I'll read these few sentences. The price of metals mined here moved only slightly last week. The cost of producing the metals went up by a miner's life. Ted Yates died in a cave-in at the Mayflower. Mining is a dangerous business, and the men who go underground deserve our admiration and respect. They are doing important work. Civilization rests on what miners do. More miners will be killed. They will be killed here, they will be killed elsewhere. Miners will die as long as there is mining. It's a dangerous industry. Their blood isn't in the price of the metal or the coal, in this case, but the communities they live in and know what they do. We know the work is hard and dangerous. We know that the men who do it are different from us. They are stronger and braver. And we hate it when one of them goes down in a mining tragedy. Silverton Editorial, 1990. I will now read the proclamation from Governor Martinez. State of New Mexico, Executive Office, Santa Fe, New Mexico. Whereas the residents of Dawson, New Mexico during the time of New Mexico's statehood were industrious and hardworking individuals of many nationalities from across the world. Whereas on October 22nd, 1913, at exactly 3 o'clock in the afternoon, a tremendous explosion ripped through a coal mine shaft, which was felt by the entire town 2 miles away. Whereas emergency crews worked feverishly for 2 days, digging through the coal and debris and finding deceased miners from the explosion. Whereas the heroic efforts of the rescuers saved the lives of 23 miners who were trapped in the coal mine shaft and were able to return to their families. Whereas, despite their efforts, 263 miners perished in the explosion, as did 2 rescuers who ran to the scene of the accident. And whereas almost 10 years later, another 120 miners in Dawson, New Mexico, lost their lives on February 8, 1923, when coal dust ignited below ground. Now, therefore, I, Susana Martinez, Governor of the State of New Mexico, do hereby proclaim October 22nd, 2013 as Dawson Remembrance Day throughout the state of New Mexico, and I urge all citizens to recognize and honor the many individuals who were killed or rescued on those days. Thank you.
One thing that came to mind when I was reading that proclamation is some of the things I read on the internet. A lot of them people that were killed in the 1923 explosion were the sons killed in the 1913 explosion. And I just thought that was